Hi y'all, Darla here with Growing Tropical, and in today's video I'm going to be demonstrating 3 simple ways that you can take clippings from your Coleus plants to create more Coleus plants. And just a little bit about, before we get into doing that, let me just talk a little bit about Coleus plants. They are absolutely beautiful. They are simple to grow, their requirements are very, very minimal, and they are easy to propagate. And what I've done is I have a couple of different Coleus actually here on the table. This one up here in the very front is one that I had actually purchased from a nursery that I've been growing. And as it's been growing, I kind of wanted to demonstrate how they get what I call leggy. There's a lot of bush inside. I'm not real sure if you guys, I'm going to kind of tilt this a little bit forward in the camera, but you can see down inside in the center here, it's really, really full and it's absolutely beautiful. But there are these like wild rogue branches that come out here that kind of make them a little bit leggy. And instead of just kind of clipping them back and throwing those cuttings away, what you can do is you can actually take clippings from all of these and start more Coleus. And it's very, very, very simple. I did that with this one over on the left side here. What I had done is I had actually taken 2 clippings that were really no bigger than this. You can kind of see that it's really, about maybe 3 inches in length. And what you basically do, and actually I'll get into that, but they were no bigger than this. And I went ahead and I just stuck them down in some potting soil and gave it some water. And I put this particular Coleus, I went ahead and I put him in sun because he is a sun-loving Coleus. And the more sun that he gets, the more vibrant and deeper his colors become. But not all Coleus actually require that kind of sun. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, we grew Coleus mainly in either shade or a dappled sun, like under trees that had a large canopy on them, and they were just gorgeous and all, we had them all over the place. But Coleus they're considered tropical in nature, and they do their best performance in the landscape when the climate is a zone, I believe it's 9 and warmer. Now, you can live in a zone 9, and if you have them in your landscape, you may have to cover them in the winter months or whatever if you do get a little bit of maybe a frost in your winter. Now, I live here in South Florida. I'm a zone 10, and every once in a while, Mother Nature does kind of throw a fit, even though we do live close to the Gulf beaches. We don't generally get freezes too awful much, but once in a while, we will get a little bit cooler temperatures that'll dip down. The beautiful thing is they're not usually sustained, so that's very helpful in things like Coleus that are in the landscape. But every once in a while, I've had to go out through the years and I've had to throw maybe a little cover on them or whatever. But as a rule, here where I live, we can go right through the winter months with these guys being in the landscape. Now, if you live in a climate where the temperatures get cooler from a zone 9 and cooler, you can still grow them in the landscape. But what you'd want to do is obviously you want to make sure that if it gets in the freezing temperatures and you have a sustained cold, that you would cover them, number one. Or you have the option of being able to just kind of lift them right out of the ground, put them in a pot and overwinter them, whether in a garage or maybe you have a cold frame or something like that, where you could protect them from the freezes and the any snow, ice, anything like that, or just really downright cold temperatures. So anyway, with that being said, Coleus come in lots and lots of different colors. The colors are just absolutely endless. And Coleus also, let me just see if I can show you here. Coleus also, this is just the start, but let me bring up to the camera here. You can see that this has a little flower stalk on it. Now, all Coleus will do that. They will present a flower stalk that'll come up as they start maturing. I don't care for them myself, and as a matter of fact, I talk to a lot of gardeners that just say they just pinch them right off, and I do the same thing because, to be honest with you, I'd rather the energy go right into, and you can see how beautiful the leaves are on this, the coloring, the green margin and the burgundy center. It's just absolutely beautiful. But and this is just one example, but by pinching that flower off, you're making the plant send more energy into creating that beautiful show in the leaves. And that's generally what most people grow the Coleus for. They're attracted to the beautiful leaves and not necessarily the flowers. But you could if you wanted to. It's not necessary that you cut that off. It's not going to hurt the plant to leave it on. But anyway, again, you would a lot of people that I know grow them, including myself, for the beautiful foliage. But so Anyway, with that all being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate 3 different ways that you can actually take clippings from your Coleus and grow them. So number 1 is, and I've got three different pots here. The first way that you can do it, and the way that I actually did these, if I remember correctly, when I clipped these off, I went ahead and I stuck them in water. All I did was I just took a little container here that's just it has a hole in the bottom, obviously. I filled it up with water, and I went ahead and I just started sticking, including these here, I started sticking them down in the water. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put my glasses on here so I can see the detail. But when you put them in water, usually after the first week, you're going to start seeing like little fuzzy roots. And then obviously, the longer they're in the water, the more they're going to root. And you can see all those fine little roots that are down there. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's just amazing to me. Like I said, I left when I took the clipping or whatever. I wasn't concerned about, all the leaves, other than you don't really want a lot of leaves like in the water because it'll be like rotty. But I've got probably about 3 inches there, maybe of stalk. Or of stem, whatever you want to call that I was able to stick down inside that water. And they just created all those beautiful little hairy roots. And then basically all I did was I took them and I'm going to go ahead and put them, I'm going to use the bigger pot here. But all you basically do, and I'm going to take a little spoon, is go right down in here, make a hole, and you can stick it right down inside, being sure to cover all of those roots. And then just tamp the soil back down and around it. And I'm going to take another one, and this one's of a different color, but you can see once again, we got a couple of them on here. You can see once again all those beautiful little hairy roots that are on there. And again, I just go ahead and I put a little hole in there and I stick it all the way down inside. And I just kind of mash all down. And then I take a little bit of water and I just water it in. And I just make sure that I get it good and watered. And then in this particular case, this Coley right here, this is not the same variety of Coley as this one over here. Well, I remember in the beginning of this video, I said that this one actually, this one actually requires a fuller sun. You can put this in a full sun, while this one would require a little bit more shade. So I will probably put this in a morning light where it's getting maybe three to 4 hours of morning light. And then because again, we live here in South Florida, our sun is just so hot that I would want to make sure that I protect this in the late afternoon from the sun. But that is basically it in a nutshell. And so I'm going to set this one aside. So number 2, the second way that you can actually propagate your Coleus is, and I'm going to go ahead and just take a clipping from this plant right here. Let's go ahead and just grab, let's see. And actually, I don't know if you guys can see. I would like to make sure that I show you properly. If you can see correctly here, what I'm going to do is, matter of fact, I'm going to grab the camera so that you guys can actually see this up close and personal, because I want you to be able to really see what I'm doing here. But what I do is I just come right into here, and if you can see, there are some new shoots right in here. And then you can see this stem that's coming out. And I'm going to try to do this with one hand, but I just kind of go right in here, right into where above that node there, where the new leaves are coming out, and I just clip. Okay, I think I got that where I can pull him right off. I'm going to be real careful here. But you see what I did? And you can see right in here, there's new leaves that are growing in, and it will cause all that energy to go down inside here and create a little bit more of a bushier appearance down inside here. And then what you're left with is that beautiful little stem right here. Make sure I've got the camera set up again so you guys can make sure that you see all of this. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. So what you're left with is this right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and I could use my clippers, but I've got some, actually I'm going to do that. I'm going to use my clippers here. I just use like this little scissor here because it's just got a really fine tip on it. But I go ahead and I just kind of clip these leaves off right there. Make sure I get all these little guys off here. and you're left with, you know, what is that, about an inch stem, okay? And what you can do is, now this is not my method of doing things, but a lot of people like to do this. This is actually a rooting hormone, and I just got it from one of the big box stores, and it's brand new because, again, like I said, I don't generally do it this way, but a lot of people do like to root their things this way. But what I do is, and as a matter of fact, what you need to do, some people do this, some people don't. I just take a little bit of water. I can show you here. I just take a little bit of water and I just kind of wet the root a little bit, because the rooting hormone actually will stick better if you do that. And I just go ahead and I just stick it right down inside there, and you can see all that rooting hormone, how it just stuck really, really well right to that stem. And then again, much like I did over on this Coleus, you go ahead and just make your hole and you stick it right down inside there. Be sure to tamp all your soil down real good around there. And I'm going to do just one more, and let's go over here. And remember, you just go right down above where some new growth is coming out. And then I just take, again, those leaves that are just down on the bottom, and I pull them right off, leaving about a good inch, okay? And then we put it in the water. You can see where I can put it all in the water. And then I just take it and I stick it right down in there and get that rooting hormone good and heavy on there. And once again, making your little hole and sticking it down inside there real good, making sure to tamp the soil down really good so there's no air pockets in there. And then what I do, much like I did with this one over here, is I watered it in really, really well. So that's the second way that you can do it. I'm going to dump that water out and set this over to the side. And then the third way, and this is actually my preferred way, this is the simplest thing that you can do when you are taking stem cuttings from a Coleus. Let's go ahead here. Okay, I'm going to grab, let's grab one in here. And I'm going to grab this one right over here. And remember, you take it just above the new where the new leaves will grow in. So we're going to go ahead and take the bottom stems off of here. I'm going to do this one as well. Take the stems just right off of there, like so. So now you've got you've got at least an inch that you're dealing with of stem. And basically, I stick them right down. Let's see if I may have to use my spoon. Right down inside there. Whoops. Stick them right down inside here. Be sure to tamp that soil good and tight up around there, get all the air pockets out and get it nice and firmed up. And I take it and I water it in. Now this is my preferred method because I like to just get in and out. When I'm gardening, I don't like to have to deal with a lot of frou-frou. But there you have 3 ways of being able to propagate your Coleus. And remember, the first one, what we did was we took the ones where we actually had the roots from the water. The second way was the growth hormone that you can do. And the third way was just to simply clip the tops off, stick it down into your potting mix, and you are good to go. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And the best thing is I've just created 3 beautiful plants out of what I had here just in the garden. Actually, I have a sister who was just in awe of the fact that I grew this one from a couple of cuttings, and she never knew that you could do something like that. So I hope that this video reaches people that had no idea or have no idea that you can actually do that. Save a buck and not have to go to the store and buy brand new Coleus if you have something beautiful like this in your landscape or in a pot. Maybe somebody gave it to you for a present or something and you'd like to make new Coleus. I hope this video was inspiring for you to go and take some clippings for your Coleus, from your Coleus, and to just use one of these 3 methods of propagation and start some new Coleus plants. So again, you guys, until the next video, bye for now.